first thrift store find was just this rattan shelving unit. I got it for $7.99, so a little bit over $8 with tax from the thrift store, and I absolutely loved it. It immediately caught my eye, and I thought I could turn this into so many different things. It could be a nightstand, it could be a bar cart, it could hold plants outside. So the first thing I did when I got it home was just take some natural spray, and I went ahead and cleaned it off. You want to clean it off obviously for sanitary reasons, but also because spray paint will not stick to that dirt. So I then went in with just some disinfecting spray and sprayed that all over and let it sit because I'm a germaphobe. So there were a lot of pieces on this piece that were sticking out, and I wanted to go ahead and cut those off because since it is made of wood, it would puncture your finger or cause cuts to the skin. So I went ahead and cut all those off. The only thing that was actually wrong with it was this little piece here where it just started to come unraveled, but a simple quick fix with my hot glue gun was all it took to fix that. So I just kind of glued a little piece onto it and began to re-ravel it back on. Now, to be honest, it didn't completely cover it, but since I decided to spray paint it, it wasn't that big of a deal, and you could barely see it once you went in with all the hot glue. As you can see there's just that little piece. So once I was done kind of doctoring it up, this is what it looked like. I went ahead and covered my space because obviously I'm going to be spray painting it, and I know it looks absolutely amazing, the color that it is and just the natural wood, but for me it didn't match my space. So I took some Krylon spray paint. This is a paint and primer in one. I would highly recommend it for this type of material when you're painting it. Now, a couple tips I would have with the spray paint is spray paint one thick layer of this so you don't have to do multiple coats, because the more coats you add to this, it's just going to take away that like natural finish that it has to it. It's not gonna look as like sparse with all those holes as you see there. Like if you keep adding spray paint, those are gonna kind of go away. So I did add like a really thick layer of the spray paint, and keep in mind I did also use the entire bottle of this spray paint, and it was brand new. I also let this piece dry overnight, so it was completely dry, and then I went in and added some of the pieces. So the silver tray there is from IKEA. I added some coasters, 2 wine glasses, and a bottle of rosé. For the top of it, I just added this marble piece. I put a decanter on it and 2 of these little mugs I got from Target. The tool set that is there is also from Target, and a little saucer from Crate & Barrel. I absolutely love the way that this project turned out. It cost me under $15 because, to be honest, I just always wanted a bar cart as a decor piece. It's not something that I actually plan on using, so I didn't want to break the bank to make one. And as I said before, you could totally use this as a nightstand or an organizational piece in your home. This next piece from the thrift store I actually found in the sale section for only $2, and once I got it home, I slowly realized why. It actually had this like residue built up onto it that was actually really cakey and very sticky. I tried my best to clean it off, but because this piece was wood, I was limited to what I could use to get it off without actually ruining the wood. Now you see here a little bit of it came off, but for the most part it didn't. So I opted to go ahead and get some sandpaper sheets. I just used these right here, and I used about 5 sheets of this. A sander wouldn't really work on this just because there are a lot of nooks and crannies you need to get in. So I just went ahead and took my time and sanded this whole thing down. And to be quite honest, this took a while to do, but this is an example of if you find pieces at the thrift store and you're willing to put in a little bit of TLC and some time, you can turn it into an amazing piece. So after I was done sanding it down for the most part, I went back in with some wood stain. This is the American Walnut. It's one of my favorite finishes from Rust-Oleum. I will link it down below. So what I did was I covered my workspace. Obviously you don't want to get the stain anywhere. And I find that applying the stain with a paintbrush is going to keep like the vintage look and vibe of this tray. That was my main concern. I loved the vintage look, so I didn't want to take that away from it, but I did need to get whatever that residue was on it off in order to actually use the piece. So this was also easier because there's a lot of nooks and crannies here that I was able to get in because I was using the brush instead of using a rag as you usually are supposed to. So I then went in with like an old rag or towel and took off the excess paint stain. Once that was dry, I do like to go ahead and seal it with just this matte sealer. I find that it just holds all the stain in together and keeps it from bleeding on anything else. So once it was done, I just added a magazine, added it to my coffee table with a coaster, and lit my favorite candle. And it still looks super vintage, but I was able to clean it up and turn it into something more useful. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a like if you did. Subscribe to my channel. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought. Follow me on Instagram. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!